The power of silence, choosing strength over desperation. Consider this, the most powerful message you can convey might actually be silence itself. Choosing to remain quiet does not indicate weakness or surrender. Instead, it symbolizes a strategic act of strength. This approach is often unexpected, catching others off guard. She may have anticipated that you'd relentlessly pursue her, that you'd become overwhelmed with emotion, flooding her with late-night messages, desperate calls, or fiery outbursts. She likely assumed you'd try to rekindle the relationship through pain and persistence, attempting to prove your worth by showing how much you crave her approval. This is a familiar pattern she has seen before: men begging, apologizing for things they didn't do, sacrificing their dignity just to gain her attention. For a moment, even you might have considered falling into this trap, trying to win her back through similar means. But then, something shifted within you, not in anger, but in clarity. You saw through their falsehoods and illusions. You understood that no amount of chasing can alter the truth. She has made her choice, and so have you. The decision to remain silent was not about hurting her or playing mind games. It was about recognizing the true value of your presence. You stopped giving it freely to someone who didn't truly deserve it. Silence is not a void or emptiness, it's a concentrated form of power. It becomes a sacred space where men can rebuild themselves, transforming pain into purpose and strength. When you chose to withdraw your voice, she sensed the change. It didn't happen right away, but over time, the impact became undeniable. Silence has a way of lingering that noise simply cannot replicate. It's not merely about the words you stopped expressing, it encompasses everything you ceased to do. You no longer offered validation. You stopped responding to her. You withdrew your focus from her, which had once been a source of your tranquility. This shift altered the entire dynamic between you two. She anticipated that a man who appeared weak would easily fall apart. However, what she encountered was a man quietly undergoing a transformation in the shadows, steadfast, relentless, and composed. She craved the thrill of being pursued, believing herself to be the ultimate prize. Yet, your silence conveyed a different narrative. It was a narrative where you became the one who slipped away, a tale in which she lost access to a man who was evolving into someone more formidable, distant, and untouchable. Let's be honest, your silence inflicted more pain on her than any words could have. Words can be debated and countered, but silence compels introspection. It forces her to confront the consequences of her own choices. This is why silence is such a powerful strategy, not as an act of vengeance, but as a demonstration of self-respect. You are no longer pursuing someone who walked away, treating your love as if it could easily be replaced. You have stopped negotiating your worth and have decided that you will not be broken simply because she believed she could shatter you. Instead, you have chosen tranquility, you have taken control of your life, and you have opted to rise from the ashes rather than be consumed by them. This represents the essence of dark detachment, a profound emotional discipline, and a transformation into a man who remains steadfast, who does not chase after others, and who does not yield. You do not plead for attention, nor do you engage in bargaining. You simply become the best version of yourself. From this point forward, every moment of your silence will resonate more powerfully than any apology, any explanation, or any text saying, "I miss you," ever could. If you have finished trying to justify yourself to someone who never truly cared to understand you, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment below. I no longer plead to be chosen. Now, let's get started. First and foremost, she believed you would crumble. She thought she had you all figured out, assuming you would chase her like others have done in the past. She underestimated your pride, thinking it was merely a facade. When she distanced herself, she anticipated that you would falter in the face of her silence. She relied on the belief that your desire for her would overshadow your self-respect. This situation is like a strategic game. The tactic is to distance yourself, triggering a sense of panic in the other person. By not reacting as expected, you disrupt their control over the situation. Instead of giving into emotional manipulation, you chose a different path. Your composed and detached response surprised her. Your ability to remain calm and unaffected by her attempts to provoke a reaction unsettled her. She anticipated drama and chaos, but you presented silence and tranquility. By refusing to engage in the expected emotional turmoil, you demonstrated a level of self-control that she found intimidating. Your refusal to play into her narrative made her realize that she couldn't manipulate you as she had hoped. Your unyielding stance made her confront the fact that her usual tactics were ineffective against someone who refused to be swayed by emotional manipulation. She didn't shatter your shell. She unveiled your true self. She exposed a man she can no longer reach. The facade you once wore, this agreeable, forgiving, emotionally open version of yourself, has faded. You stopped bleeding for people who watched you suffer and called it strength. You stopped defending yourself for someone who already made up her mind. Now she sits in silence, questioning why you haven't called, why you haven't begged, why your name now holds more power than it ever did. She thought you'd break, but you broke the pattern instead. If you're ready to embrace authenticity, share this with others and stay engaged. I choose silence over self-deception. Number 2, emotional sobriety. No reaction is the ultimate reaction. She thought silence meant you were hurting, that you were waiting for the right moment to explode. But emotional sobriety isn't silence tied to pain. It's silence rooted in power. When you don't react, you're not pretending you don't care. You're proving you've mastered yourself. That's what stoicism is. Not the absence of feeling, but the control of it, the restraint, the discipline. She wanted to pull your strings, to get you to crack, to lash out, to act out. This situation would have provided her with the affirmation she was seeking. She craved reassurance that she still had a connection to your feelings. However, what you offered her was silence. This absence of response resonated deeply. It represents a form of control that communicates more powerfully than any debate could. You didn't pursue her, nor did you attempt to clarify your feelings. You refrained from posting a passive-aggressive message on social media to show off or pretend that you were moving on. Instead, you simply withdrew your emotional presence. This wasn't done out of malice, rather, it stemmed from a clear understanding of reality. Not every action warrants a response, and not every insult necessitates a comeback. Similarly, not every act of disrespect deserves your attention or energy. When you achieve emotional clarity, you stop being swayed by triggers that once controlled you. You recognize the dynamics at play and choose to step back. This is the moment when you cease to be a puppet in someone else's game and start to take charge of your own life. You may still feel the hurt, but you choose not to react impulsively. You experience the turmoil within, yet you refrain from unleashing it. This is the silence she receives from you. This isn't confusion, it's true clarity. The kind of clarity that emerges when you stop trying to repair someone who was never uncertain, just indifferent. Choosing not to react becomes your most powerful response, forcing them to confront their own actions without the buffer of your emotional engagement. If you're tired of having your feelings held hostage, tired of giving unwarranted responses to those who haven't earned them, take charge, engage with this content, subscribe for more insights, and share My Calmness is My Power below. Third principle, strategic withdrawal, eliminating desperation. Let's be honest, clinginess destroys appeal. Partners instinctively sense it, in your excessive explanations, unnecessary apologies, and disproportionate efforts. Each time you made someone the anchor of your emotional stability, their admiration quietly eroded. Here's the uncomfortable truth, idolizing others diminishes your own worth. Constant availability and predictability might feel comforting, but in relationships, overfamiliarity doesn't deepen bonds, it breeds indifference. The transformation begins when you stop seeking external validation. By redirecting your focus inward, not as a manipulative tactic, but as intentional self-care, you regain personal power. Imagine two scenarios: a gardener who neglects their own plot to tend someone else's will eventually starve, while one who nurtures their own soil becomes a beacon others want to visit. That's the power of balanced investment. That's what's known as dark detachment. It's not about pretending you don't care, it's about stopping the act of caring too much. It's about cutting off the emotional support you've been giving to someone who only took from you without returning the loyalty, consistency, or respect you deserved. You've learned a powerful lesson: the less you need, the stronger you become. You've started focusing on nurturing your own mind instead of boosting someone else's ego. You're building yourself up instead of chasing after someone who took pleasure in seeing you struggle. This shift is when things start to get real. Because now, she's not dealing with the same person anymore. She's dealing with a version of you who is detached, not cold, but clear about what you will and won't tolerate, clear about what you bring to the table, and clear about who you are, both with and without her. The moment you remember your worth, neediness fades away. And with it, so does her control. If you're ready to stop chasing validation and end the hunger for approval, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment below. Remember, you are enough without their attention. Number 4, the cold flame. Why indifference can hurt more than anger. Anger is something she can handle. Anger means you still care. This indicates that you are still emotionally engaged and connected to her energy. It suggests that she continues to hold some influence over you. However, indifference is a far more dangerous state. When you are indifferent, it conveys that she is no longer significant to you, she is off your radar entirely. This indifference is akin to a cold flame. It may not burn brightly, but it burns deeply, quietly, and slowly, leaving a lasting impact. She may have anticipated that you would react with anger, confront her, or perhaps share vague messages on social media, hoping she would decipher the underlying meaning. Such reactions would have signaled to her that she still mattered, that she still had the ability to affect your emotions, your daily life, and your sense of tranquility. However, when you chose not to respond, when you didn't even flinch, her ego suffered the blow she was trying to avoid. There is nothing more damaging to one's ego than the realization that someone they believed they could control simply no longer cares. When you respond with anger, you inadvertently give her a part in your narrative, making her relevant in your life. Conversely, when you choose silence, you effectively turn the page and write her out of your story. That is what truly hurts her, it's what keeps her awake at night. It's not the argument that never took place, but rather the closure she never received. It's the painful realization that she wasn't even significant enough to warrant a farewell. This is the wisdom that stoic individuals grasp. It's a powerful realization that not every situation requires a neat resolution, and not every interaction warrants a strong emotional response. Sometimes, the most impactful way to navigate a difficult experience is to simply move forward with grace and quiet strength, leaving the other person to question the significance of their actions and your presence in their life. It's far easier to succumb to anger, but cultivating a sense of genuine indifference, a detachment born from self-respect, is a much more rewarding and earned achievement. If you're finding yourself withdrawing emotional energy from individuals who consistently take more than they give, please show your support by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, enabling notifications so you don't miss future content, and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. For me, that indifference represents a profound sense of personal freedom. Let's explore a key shift in dynamics, which I call value reversal, moving from being the pursuer to becoming the prize. Initially, you might have found yourself constantly initiating contact, sending the first text, eagerly awaiting responses, meticulously planning dates, and adjusting your own needs and desires to maintain their attention. You were essentially treating love and connection as a transaction, hoping that by investing enough effort, they would finally recognize your worth and reciprocate your feelings. However, the fundamental truth is that your value isn't something you need to demonstrate or prove. It's an inherent quality you possess. The moment you internalize this understanding, the entire landscape of the relationship transforms. You cease the relentless pursuit and begin to naturally attract positive attention. You stop feeling the need to constantly justify yourself and instead focus on personal growth and evolution. This is value reversal, a complete change in the narrative. Previously, they believed they held all the cards, that you would always be readily available. But when you genuinely disengage, when you walk away without looking back, they experience a loss of that familiar comfort and security. You see, consistent pursuit inadvertently diminishes your perceived value in their eyes. By stepping back and prioritizing your own well-being, you reclaim your power and create a space for them to truly appreciate the person you are, rather than the person they tried to mold you into. When you step back, not out of anger but from a place of valuing yourself, you immediately become something special. Rarity has its own allure, and people are naturally drawn to what is scarce. In relationships, Women aren't typically attracted by someone chasing after them. Instead, they are captivated by presence, charisma, and an air of mystery. A man who doesn't desperately seek validation exudes a magnetic quality. His unpredictability piques curiosity, making her wonder about the sudden change, why the calls stopped, why his energy shifted, and why he seems so unattainable now. This is often the point where she starts to subtly check your social media, ask mutual friends about you, and watch your stories, hoping for any hint that you still think about her. Suddenly, you become the prize, the one who can walk away without feeling the need to justify his actions, and this is the kind of man she can't get out of her head. If you're ready to stop proving your worth and start embracing it, show your support by liking, subscribing, turning on notifications, and leaving a comment. Remind yourself, I am the prize. Another important aspect is the unseen scar. When you withdraw, it might seem like you're sulking, but in reality, you're growing quietly and steadily. You don't post about your struggles or throw pity parties, you focus on making progress. The hurt she caused didn't break you, it fueled you. Pain can have two outcomes: it can make you bitter or it can make you stronger. You chose the path of growth. This choice is what distinguishes a mature individual from someone who remains stuck in their youth. Young boys often seek closure, while mature men focus on personal growth. Here's an unexpected twist: you didn't need to make a grand announcement about your return. Instead, you became the embodiment of your own comeback. You elevated yourself quietly, adopting a fresh mindset, establishing new routines, and setting higher standards for yourself. Rather than attempting to demonstrate to her what she has lost, you transformed into someone who no longer looks back. This silence and emotional detachment resonate more powerfully than any act of revenge could ever achieve. You redirected your energy towards self-improvement instead of investing in someone who failed to recognize your worth. You began working out, honing your skills, and accumulating your successes. While she was busy scrolling through social media in search of validation, you were focused on your goals, creating not just physical distance but also a spiritual one. You became unavailable to the old version of yourself that used to accept less than you deserved. Now, she notices this change. Although she may never voice it, deep down, she understands that she no longer has access to the new you. Your growth is evident, it communicates not through words but through the energy you exude. Your silence conveys a powerful message: I don't need to shout to be heard. My achievements will resonate far and wide. If you have finally decided to stop being haunted by the past that caused you pain and are ready to quietly rebuild your life, please take a moment to like this post, subscribe to my channel, enable notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments below. My personal development is evident and speaks volumes. Now, let's discuss the concept of the elusive return, which I refer to as the return that never truly happens. This is about understanding why you should not go back to a previous relationship. She may be anticipating the familiar cycle, the apologies, the messages that say, I've been thinking about you, and the weak attempts at rekindling the relationship. This is what she has grown accustomed to: men who leave but always find their way back. These are individuals who often confuse attachment with genuine love. However, you are different, you have broken that cycle. When you left, you did so with intention and sincerity. It wasn't out of bitterness, but rather because you have reached a point of closure. It's important to realize that closure does not come from her. It arises from your own decision to stop reopening a chapter that has already revealed all the lessons you needed to learn. Returning to that past relationship is not a sign of strength, it is, in fact, an act of self-betrayal. You have already witnessed the truth and endured the pain associated with it. There is nothing new waiting for you in that familiar territory, only the same old patterns, albeit in a different guise. She may attempt to test the waters once more, but remember, you have the power to choose a different path. Imagine receiving a message that feels like a "hello stranger." It's a story reply, but it's not about you. It's about her ego. She's curious if the doors are still ajar. Don't respond, not because you're playing games, but because you're no longer playing at all. She opted for distance, and you chose dignity. You don't owe her a return to something that once hurt you, just to prove you've healed. Your life has progressed. Your mindset has evolved. Your energy is too valuable for a trip back to who you once were. She had her opportunity and missed it. Now, her memory doesn't linger in your inbox, it resides in your silence. If you're finished revisiting old wounds masquerading as second chances, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment below. I don't revisit what I've outgrown. Moving on to number 8, social alchemy. When others start to notice, you vanished. This approach is about transforming your social interactions, letting go of what no longer serves you, and embracing the growth that comes from moving forward. You stepped back from the noise. But during that quiet time, something powerful was happening inside you, evolving, refining, and sharpening your essence. Now, people are starting to sense it. Not because you flaunted your progress or declared your transformation, but because genuine growth radiates without needing a spotlight. Think of it like a tree that doesn't boast about its roots deepening or its branches stretching toward the sun. Your temporary absence didn't erase you, it magnified your presence. This is what I call social alchemy, when the version of yourself that once faded into the background returns stronger, and the world can't help but recalibrate. Those who once overlooked you now find themselves drawn to your new aura. They might not pinpoint exactly why you've shifted, your calmness feels different, your focus sharper, your energy more magnetic. You no longer dart after every conversation, instead, conversations orbit you now. Respect isn't something you beg for, it's something you hold steady, like a lighthouse that doesn't need to shout its strength. Even the one person you wondered about. She's noticing too. Maybe she'll never admit it, but her curiosity is a silent storm. What's changed? Why does he move through life like it's his canvas now? Who's he sharing his time with? Because your silence no longer screams emptiness. It hums with purpose. It's the pause before a symphony, not the void after an ending. You've turned quiet into a statement, and the world is leaning in to listen. It's a fascinating phenomenon. You've become a rarity. And in today's noisy world, being rare is truly valuable. This is the power of detachment. The world begins to notice the man who no longer seeks its validation. People start treating you with the respect you've always deserved, and now, they are taking notice. The best part? You're not doing it to impress them, you're doing it for yourself. If you're tired of being overlooked and ready to let your silence speak volumes, show your support by liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications. Your transformation needs no grand announcement. Number 9, being unbothered is a force to be reckoned with. Peace is the ultimate power move. She tries to provoke you, spark jealousy, and create emotional chaos, as it's her go-to weapon. But those days are long gone. Now, you're unbothered. And that serene, stoic, and detached peace you've achieved is unparalleled. She posts enticing content, hoping to lure you in, but you remain unfazed. She tries to provoke you by bringing up someone new, but you remain unfazed. She subtly jabs at you through mutual connections, waiting for you to retaliate. Yet, no response comes from you, not because you didn't notice, but because you've evolved beyond the need to entertain anything that compromises your peace. You've finally realized that not everything demanding your attention deserves your energy. Peace is not passive, it's an act of discipline. It's the power to choose where your mind goes and, more importantly, where it doesn't. You've trained yourself to respond with silence, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. You understand that your time is a valuable currency, and some people are simply not worth the investment. The truth is, nothing shakes someone more than watching the person they tried to break become immune. You don't need to block her, you don't need to address it, and you don't even need to look away, because peace isn't about pretending not to care, it's about genuinely not caring. That's why it hits harder, and that's why it lingers. Being unbothered is the ultimate state of being. It's not loud or petty, it's simply untouchable. If you're done letting chaos take up space in your mind, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave a comment below. My peace is my power. Number 10, the silent legacy. You became the one that got away. She thought you were just temporary, another chapter, a fleeting moment. Someone who would always orbit around her, waiting for a green light that was never coming. But now, she's realizing that you were the story, the one who changed her, even if she won't admit it. The one who left without slamming the door. No drama, no begging, just quietly gone for good. You didn't need revenge or to prove anything. You simply became everything she never thought you would be. The one that got away, not because you died, but because you outgrew her. Because you chose yourself. Because you rose in silence while she stayed addicted to TH. This is the legacy left behind. The individual who does not pursue, does not yield, and does not feel the need to justify himself. He is not merely someone who has healed, he has evolved to a higher level. Consequently, her recollection of you is no longer tainted by disputes or turmoil. Instead, it is filled with uncertainty and questions. Why did he cease to make an effort? Does he ever think of me? Was I truly significant to him? Although she may never voice these thoughts, deep down, she understands that she let go of something genuine. This realization did not come from your words, but rather from the profound silence you maintained. You were not in search of closure, nor did you seek revenge. What you required was simply space. And now, that space has transformed into your strength. You have become the person she cannot replace, the one she struggles to comprehend, the one who disappeared without a backward glance. This is the outcome when a man opts for silence, self-discipline, and tranquility over desperation. You have transcended being just a fleeting memory. She might never vocalize her feelings. She may never openly acknowledge them. However, the impact of your silence resonates in ways that your spoken words never could. She has experienced the pain of loss. She has sensed the changes around her. Even after the excitement of the games has faded and the spotlight has dimmed, you will remain in her thoughts. Not as a part of her daily life, but as the individual she underestimated, the one who quietly persevered. The one she can never reclaim. Now, the decision lies with you. Choose to remain silent. Choose to stay grounded. Choose to be unwavering. When the world attempts to drag you back into turmoil, keep in mind that the most powerful message is often the one left unsaid. If you are ready to take control of your own narrative and step into your full potential, please give that like button a tap. Subscribe, enable notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments below. I have moved beyond the distractions. This is Stoic Blessing. Remain steadfast. Remain silent. Remain in control. She might never voice her feelings openly. She may never confess what's truly on her mind. Yet, believe that your quiet strength resonates in ways that spoken words never could. She experienced the absence. She noticed the change. And even after the drama fades away and the spotlight moves on, your presence will linger, not in her daily life, but in her thoughts, as the person she misjudged. You became the one who grew stronger in silence, the one she can't reclaim. Now, the decision is in your hands. Remain quiet. Stay rooted in who you are. Be unwavering, no matter what. When life tries to drag you back into confusion or noise, remember, sometimes the most powerful statement is the one you never make. If you're ready to stop letting life pass you by and want to step fully into your own strength, show your support, like this post, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments. I've moved beyond the distractions. This is Stoic Blessing. Keep your composure. Embrace your silence.